We'll talk about Ipswich in a second as they look to bounce back from the 6-0 defeat to Manchester City, of course. But Arne Slot's quote was very interesting because his dad obviously watches all the Liverpool games, but not particularly impressed with what he saw against Lille. Has his dad got a point? Have they lost that X factor that they had under Jurgen Klopp?
My father is a fan as well, and when I call him after the game, he can also say, it wasn't as exciting as other games of Liverpool when he watched the game against Lille. And then I have to try to explain him that these games you can easily lose if you're starting to force all kind of difficult balls. But he's not always agreeing with me then.
No, I don't think they've lost much X factor. I think they've built an even better and stronger version of what Klopp had already left behind. I think they've got an unbelievable squad. They've got players who are in really good form. They've got players like Virgil van Dijk that people a year ago thought, are we ever going to see him at his peak again? And he's levelled up. And I do think, that is great for Arne Slot to work with. But obviously, these players can't be, 100 at that level all the time. There are going to be moments, and we've already seen that this season in that defeat to Nottingham Forest, in the draw with Nottingham Forest, where you can't have perfection every game. But I think the ability that Liverpool have, the depth and the fact that even when they've had injuries, it hasn't impacted the team that much. I just think what Slot has done is taken a very good team, nurtured it, added a few more bits and pieces, and they've levelled up again. And I think across the season, you see that in how they play.
Is that the result of just having more control over games?
Not necessarily. I think that sort of idea is one which we saw right at the start of the season, but each game essentially is different. I think when you look at the Brentford game where they scored 2 late goals, but they also had, was it nearly 40 shots in the game?
Yeah.
Like 40 shots in the game doesn't mean you're just passing the ball sideways and trying to control things. That's you really going out of side. And not many teams will ever get the chance to have that many shots in a game, let alone 2 games combined, you see. So I don't think the control is necessarily as big a thing, because teams that would go and play against them, maybe they try and play into a weakness of the system that they believe that Liverpool are going to do. But they can move it around the back, they can hit diagonal balls, you can see them be full speed with Salah, with Luis Diaz, with Gakpo, runners from midfield, the fullbacks bombing forward. So they've got lots of different ways to try and get wins. And I think I echo what Flo was saying really as well, in the fact that it hasn't been perfect all the time. But as is the case with Lille, well, they won the game. And where does that leave them? Top of the Champions League group.
Yeah, already through, by the way,
That's what
to
I
the
mean.
next phase.
Exactly. Or like say domestically, they didn't look great in this game. Well, how did the game go? Well,
I also think there's I think what's been tough for Liverpool is that there aren't teams aren't afraid to play them. Think about that Brentford game. It was so open. Any team could have scored in those first 80 minutes, and I couldn't believe it was 0-0 for so long. So unlike City a year ago and City under Pep Guardiola, where everyone is terrified of them up until now, sorry, Nedum.
No,
I do think I think what's really interesting about this Liverpool side is so many teams are happy to take it to them. Even that opening game of the season against Ipswich, where for the first 20 minutes, Ipswich, everyone thought, OK, you're holding your own here. And I do think that actually is a sign for me of a very good team that can withstand a lot of pressure, but still win out in games, rather than those bigger teams that turn up and they just control the entire 90 minutes and teams are terrified of them.
Just a word for Darwin Nunez, who we saw scoring those 2 goals in injury time against Brentford, just when hope was fading, for what he can do, having kind of burst on the scene. He's now seen as that kind of chaos creator, but suddenly he's just reminded us, hasn't he, of his ability.
Yeah, for sure. When Arne Slot's putting him on the field, he's not putting him on there just to run channel, because he's putting him on because he believes he can score in a big moment, and he managed to do that. And when you see the relief that he has after he scores the first and then the second, those are big moments for players. And unfortunately, as the defender, I never really had that joy of having those big moments and saying, I'm the hero. But the fact is, he probably needed that. His belief at times is something that a lot of us believe he probably doesn't have as much as others. But when he's out there, he has an impact on the game throughout. When he's finishing there, like as a defender, with minutes to go, you don't want to see Darwin Nunez coming onto the field. And when there's going to be the goal-scoring element as well, it makes it even harder for you.
They take on Ipswich, who've made another loan signing. So we've got Julio Enciso, who's their incredibly talented teenager from Brighton. He scored a great goal against City, did he not?
Please carry on, yeah. Anyone else? Let's talk about it.
You feel like you're under fire here, don't you?
That's fine.
But this is one he won't forget in a hurry.
Yeah, I remember that one, clear as day as well. It was just after City had already won the league.
It was, last game of the season?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, dead over, it's fine. But
still a good goal.
Yeah, it's a great finish. Right. It's a great finish, and somebody with that sort of quality getting the chance to go to Ipswich is a big deal for Ipswich. And you can see that, they want to try and stay up, but they're trying to do it through attack, not just in defence. Because in my mind, and maybe this is where I'm wrong at times, it's good to have a good defensive record, but you need to be able to have a threat to win games of football.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be drawing your way to stay in this division. You have to find ways to score. And that's why Liam Delap has been such a big deal for them this season. That's why Sammy Smodic, so when he's scoring, that's a big deal for them. And now Vinciso feeding them a bit more, maybe they'll have a chance.
They've been by far the most proactive of any of those sides down at the wrong end of the table. Calvin Phillips is there on loan, Ben Godfrey, even Jaden Philogene for 20 million for a team like Ipswich in January is quite a statement as well. But to go to Anfield, knowing you've just been thumped 6-0 by Manchester City, it doesn't get any easier, does it?
It doesn't, but I do agree with Nedum. I think they're going about things the right way with their recruitment, with their approach to games. I mean, if you think about Burnley last season and a lot of the criticism that Vincent Kompany had around them with not being adaptable, not having a plan B and being naive in games and wanting to stick to your principles, I think a lot of people could apply the same thing to Ipswich because they are being very stubborn in their principles. But the reality is they are matching up with a lot of big teams and they are really staying in games. They've had some positive late results and some negative late moments where they've lost games late on. So it swings both ways for them. But I do think I'm optimistic. Unfortunately, I think they still might get relegated. But I think, and this isn't very helpful for Ipswich fans, they will go down fighting and they will go down giving it everything rather than sort of giving up. I think they will go down and feel like, okay, we played our way and maybe we came up short, but we had a lot of moments where we were competing with the top teams.
I didn't see Liverpool losing this match. I'm not even counting this match as a tough match. Even though you will say that no Premier League team that easy to beat. But with as good as Liverpool is, I don't see Ipswich stopping Liverpool in this match. Honestly. Liverpool get everything. Defense, they are okay. Midfield, they are one of the best. In attack, for me, they have the best attack in Premier League this season. Because the numbers is there. They have scored the highest goals. They have conceded also the least goals. So, you see, they have the defense, they have the attack, the midfield is functioning well. So, I don't see Ipswich having anything in this match. I didn't see it. So, it's well, you may not say that it's a 3-point guarantee, but this is at least 80% sure say Liverpool will win this match. Unless something happen, maybe the start of the game, they get red card. But even Liverpool said with the red card, I still believe that they will still even win the match. That is to show you how good Liverpool is this season. The momentum is there. The team spirit is there. And especially when a team is in a winning run, that is the confidence is too high. So this match, I didn't see Ipswich stopping Liverpool. Until I didn't even see anything stopping Liverpool getting 3 points in this match. So I urge you Arsenal that they are following them to not mess up because Liverpool is not looking back.